Hello and welcome. This is Lisa Jones, and you are listening to the Exploring Death podcast. Hello and welcome to the Exploring Death podcast. I'm Lisa Jones, your host, and today I have Rick and Beth Olsen with me. In 1999, they experienced an unimaginable loss when their two children were killed by a drunk driver. The immediate aftermath proved to be a numbing haze. But it wasn't long before Rick and Beth began receiving messages from their deceased children, assuring them that they weren't actually gone, and ultimately proving the existence of life after death. Well, I'd love to pull a few cards and just see what Spirit has to say about all this amazing information that you've just shared with us.
Wonderful.
Great. Let's see here. Okay, the first card is usually the blockage card. And so the first card I'm getting is leadership. And what's coming through to me on that is, it's not that that's a blockage for you guys, but that's like such a huge part of what you're doing. You're the leaders of this, and it's expanding and growing, and really just getting this message out to so many people is so helpful. My whole body right now, I just want to tell you, is on fire with like truth. That is so true. And so your action card is essence. I mean, there's really nothing more that you need to do than to just be 100% yourselves and to share. I mean, the story today that you've shared is just, I mean, that is the essence of who you are and why you're here on this earth. And it's just such a blessing. And then your outcome card is opening, just that you're opening people's hearts. You're truly, I mean, the word coming through is way showers to the people on this earth. And it's such a blessing that, again, that you've taken the time to share the story. And I know you do workshops and other things, and I'd love for you to tell everyone listening how to get a hold of you.
Yeah, there's a couple ways people can get a hold of us. The main way is we have a website. The website is weneverleftyou.com, and it's all one word. That's also the title of a book that we wrote.
Yep. So I know it's kind of backwards, but
after we had the experience with the chicken in the basket, within a couple hours after that, we were at the funeral, and we had decided we were going to keep the story to ourselves. But when we got there, our families were all distraught. And we shared the story with them, and you could see the glimmer in their eye and the hope, and they changed a little bit. And then throughout the course of the funeral, we could see that our family was beginning to share that with other people. And you could see the relief and the hope that it gave them. And Beth looked at me and said, "We have to write a book." Said, "This story isn't for us. This story is for everybody." And it took another 15 years before we wrote this book. But this book that we wrote is actually the story of our journey over the first year after the loss of the kids. And we put it out there because we have found that it's extremely helpful for people with loss, because it takes them through the process we went through from the standpoint of losing and what it felt like and the emotions. And so we have found that it's one of the few, we've been told it's one of the few books that people can read after they lose somebody, because most of the books out there they can't relate to. So We Never Left You, I'm sorry, I'm kind of rolling around here a little bit, but We Never Left You is the best way to get a hold of us. And that, actually, the title of the book came from Josh. It was a message we got from Josh. He had basically told us, you know what, we never left you. We're still
through
here.
A medium.
Through a medium. He said, we never left you.
Oh, that is beautiful. And I'm just curious, so is there a shaman technique for people, or I guess I'm just thinking, is there one thing that you could share with maybe somebody listening right now that's lost somebody recently, and what can they do to move forward?
When you begin to understand and accept that death is not final, that there is more beyond that, and that if you begin to look at it from the perspective of there's more past this, your children, your loved ones, your spouses are not gone, they're just in a place that you can no longer touch, and you understand that they're okay. Because when they do cross over, they are okay. That's always people's biggest fears. If you can accept those two things, it helps the process of healing and understanding move forward. And now those are the two biggest parts that we talk to people about constantly, is understanding those and accepting those.
Thank you so much, Beth and Rick, for spending time with me today and sharing your story. I know that you have touched many people's hearts and that you are helping them heal on their journey of their grief. So thank you again.
Well, you're welcome, and thank you for having us.
Yes, thank you. We always welcome these opportunities, so thank you.
Excellent. And thank you for listening today to Exploring Death. And be sure to stay tuned. I'm going to pull some cards for you up next.